Hello and welcome back to OmniFoot TV. This is Joao speaking, and today's second video of the day is going to be about Saudi transfer news because we're running out of news, and every major league in Europe is about to kick off soon. Although this is quite interesting, I'll start by going into this whole Joao Felix Al Hilal mishap. I consider it a mishap because this is probably going to be the worst move in this young man's career, considering the fact that he's still in his 20s, that he remains one of Europe's best young prospects, a Portuguese gem, a player who still has the potential to produce so much. Bearing in mind that he's obviously struggled in La Liga under Diego Simeone, he struggled at Atletico de Madrid to actually adapt to the system. Simeone has made it out to be that this player is surplus to requirement in regards to his plans. He's made it very difficult for him to actually find his way back into the side. He's ostracized him a little. And then you had to watch him go to the Premier League, secure a loan move to Chelsea, and that failed to materialize into a full out-and-out transfer. And now he seems to be flirting with a move to Asia. Look, Asian football is being marketed differently nowadays simply because of the Saudi Premier League. I understand that. But for a player in his 20s to think to actually move to a Saudi club out of a need for game time or out of a need to reinvigorate his career, he's going to be doing the exact opposite. I do believe, though, that there is no way that no other club is actually coming for him. Players like Mane and Felix, and later on Ansu Fati, who I'm going to talk about in a bit, you look at them and think all three of them still have more to give. I'd like to highlight Fati's situation is entirely different. But in terms of Felix, for example, I had to watch him for half a season at Chelsea. The boy can move. He's got integrity in his playing ability at least. He's focused. Sometimes he can be a little harsh or brash in his approach. He still needs time to mature in certain areas, but you can tell that he tries. You can tell that he trains well. You can tell that he's got a spark to him. There's something there. There's more potential. What you see isn't necessarily all that you get. You look at him and think, okay, you can improve his finishing. An example, because that's been the one gripe I've seen people genuinely talk about who've watched him either for Portugal or for Chelsea last season. And I think that players like this are better off securing moves, maybe to a club that isn't in the upper echelon of European football, but somewhere still in Europe where he can rejuvenate and revitalize his career. He needs to start over. And he's still fresh. That's the key point here. It's not over for him. He hasn't peaked yet. And yet, a move to Saudi Arabia would completely destroy all of that. Unless, and this is extremely far-fetched, he ends up moving to Saudi Arabia, reinvigorating his career there, and then finding his way back to Europe. And in my opinion, that is not something I expect to happen, primarily because the quality of the league is not that strong. He needs to move somewhere where he knows that the football in and of itself is going to challenge him. If all he does is earn a crap load of money and plays against the likes of clubs that aren't even rated in general, I'm not even going to mention clubs like Al-Batin and Al-Fayhat, clubs who people have no idea people have no idea who these clubs are or why they exist primarily. He's not really going to look at them and think, this is where I'm going to stamp a measure or a level of improvement that I need to up my game. It's different than playing in the Premier League and thinking to yourself, okay, I'm going to be up against Fulham, Man United, maybe even Stoke, who used to cause a lot of trouble in the league. Even in the championship, there's more competition than in the Saudi league. It makes little to no sense to me. And I perceive this as a drawback. You can't expect to push your career forward if you're afraid of the adversities you're dealing with and decide to roll back and sign for a club simply to earn more money, even if you do play and stagnate in terms of your quality. No matter where you end up going as a player, your environment is going to affect you, especially if it's not competitive. And even if it is competitive, but the quality isn't up to par, you will still suffer. So there needs to be, I think the player needs to develop more patience. Now, whether or not he completes this move is another story. People have been talking about it for a couple of days now, and I'm starting to get worried. I would have much rather had him at Chelsea than seen him go back to Atletico Madrid. At one point, I thought that he could have or should have stayed at the club, but then we would have had to pay out, and I don't think Poch actually wanted him. In which case, I trust the manager. So he just needs to find new and fertile ground from which to hit the ground running. And wherever that's going to take him, I genuinely hope I don't see him in Saudi Arabia. And that's all for this video. I've basically shared my thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, please press the like button. If you didn't, or have any disagreements, or if you do agree with me and you'd like to go into more detail, please, the comment section is open. And hit the bell notifications button because we post content on a daily basis. If you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do that already. I don't know what you're waiting for. Thank you for tuning in once again, and I will see you all next time. Whistle blows.